And now I'll speak specifically to the Advancing the Science of Engagement Funding Announcement. So although PCORI has generated a lot of information about how engagement can impact research, there is much more to learn about the best methods and approaches that lead to effective engagement across research studies. At PCORI, we view the science of engagement as an emerging field that we are committed to building by supporting projects to develop and/or validate measures of engagement in research and studies that develop and evaluate engagement approaches. This slide shows the path from this funding opportunity to our desired impact. So we start by funding studies on the science of engagement in order to build the field and further develop the CER community. The evidence generated by this research should lead to better engagement, which we believe will lead to research questions and processes that patients want. We expect that better engagement will lead to more meaningful and patient-centered comparative effectiveness research studies. And finally, our vision is that more meaningful CER will lead to more informed health decisions, better care, and better health outcomes. With the findings from these studies, we can provide guidance and resources to help individuals and organizations achieve meaningful engagement. The logic model depicted on this slide describes how PCORI currently conceptualizes engagement in research. Engagement occurs in a broader context that influences the conduct of and participation in engaged research and its outcomes. Engagement activities refer to the process of how researchers and partners work together throughout the research life cycle. The quality of engagement, that is, the perceptions, assessments, and feelings of partners and researchers, is a result of the activities that partners and researchers participate in. Together, engagement activities and quality shape the outcomes for partners and the near and long-term outcomes for the research itself. A helpful document that is linked here called Measuring What Matters describes this logic model and further elaborates PCORI's current priorities for measuring engagement in research and the range of relevant concepts. If you intend to submit a proposal for the Science of Engagement PFA, we strongly encourage you to take a look at this resource. So in order to achieve our objectives, the Science of Engagement PFA funds two categories of awards. The first category of awards funds studies to develop a set of reliable and valid measures that enable future comparative effectiveness research of engagement methods. So these are what we refer to as Category 1 awards. The second category supports research projects to evaluate the impact of different engagement methods on key processes and outcomes of engagement in research. So for the first category of awards focused on measures of engagement, projects can develop and validate new measures of engagement, validate measures that have undergone previous development but have yet to be validated, validate previously validated measures in a new population of respondents, or adapt and validate measures of engagement that have previous development in another related area, for example, in community-based participatory research. Applications proposing measure development must include an assessment of criterion validity, including predictive or concurrent validity, construct validity, or both. And study methods need to be rigorous, but are not limited to any specific theoretical approach. The current priorities for measure development are measures that capture structure or context where engagement happens, measures that describe the process by which patients and partners were engaged and the level of engagement at various stages of the study, and measures that capture the outcomes that result from engagement. This includes both patient and partner outcomes and research outcomes. To be sure, these priorities do not preclude you from proposing other focus areas that are well justified, and we encourage you to review the PFA carefully to learn more about our current priorities. These Category 1 awards may receive up to $1 million in direct costs, and the maximum project period is 24 months. For the second category of awards, development and testing of engagement methods, we're focused on generating evidence on which engagement methods are most effective, either alone or in combination, and how effectiveness varies by context. These studies must use either quantitative or mixed methods, so please note that purely qualitative studies will not be considered responsive. CER is not required for Category 2 projects, and rigorous observational studies are potentially responsive to the PFA. The current priorities for developing and testing engagement methods are: which engagement methods work in what settings, and how do they do so? Which engagement methods result in high-quality engagement? How do engagement methods need to be adapted to be effective for different partner and patient populations? Which engagement methods achieve the goals of making research more patient-centered, timely, relevant to patient concerns, and trustworthy? And how do they achieve those goals? Like in Category 1, these priorities do not preclude you from proposing other focus areas as long as they are well justified. For Category 2 awards, the budget for direct costs can be up to $1.5 million, and the maximum project period is 36 months. We do want to highlight a few important cases that will make a proposed project non-responsive to this funding announcement. Projects that define engagement solely as recruitment, participation, and/or retention in a study. Research projects that are focused on patient activation or engagement in their own healthcare or in healthcare delivery and improvement efforts. Measurement research projects that don't include steps to validate an instrument, and research projects evaluating engagement methods that solely use qualitative methods. As for the application process, all applications start with a letter of intent. Letters of intent for this cycle are due by 5 p.m. Eastern on January 6th, 2026. PCORI will then review the LOI internally for responsiveness, and applicants will be notified by February 3rd of 2026. If you're invited to submit a full proposal at that stage, those full proposals will be due by 5 p.m. Eastern again on May 5th, 2026. And then full applications undergo merit review and, if necessary, a PCORI information request, or PIR. After merit review and PIR, applicants will be notified on the outcome of their application.